Everyone talks about Rochester's charm, but let's be real, it's not perfect. The weather kinda sucky, the job market mixed, and the real estate prices going up a lot. So the big question, what makes living here so challenging? What do residents wish that they had known? And ultimately, how do you make sure you facilitate this move in the most effective way possible so you don't get absolutely boggled down? In this one, we're gonna cover exactly that. Roll the intro.
Outside, the winter sky turning gray. City up in smoke, it's only ash when it rains. I'll let the morning go to sleep in the day. But for everybody till the drugs fade away.
Listen, if you look at the best places to live in 2025, Rochester is going to be up there, alongside Buffalo, parts of Chicago, and even parts of Ohio. But what they're not telling you is, besides the fact that we have a lower cost to live in, there's also so much extra nuances going on with it that you absolutely have to know. One of the big things, especially for John, when he came here from Dallas, which has no snow, is there's a lot of it. And I mean a lot. You see, we get over 100 inches of snowfall every single year, and this may not seem like a major deal until you drive. Until you realize the snow is actually an economic factor here, and people get hurt. Seriously hurt. Below zero wind chills, it gets cold, and those gray skies, well, let me tell you, some days I want to pack my bag and move to Florida. But all of these things have to be taken into account. One of the biggest catalysts of Rochester and Rochesterians loving living here is the fact that you get to do these activities in the wintertime. Let's say that's not your cup of tea, well then Rochester isn't going to be the place for you. It gets bad here, and albeit we really haven't had the craziest winters, there's definitely a day or two throughout the wintertime where I refuse to go outside and even refuse to show houses because it's so freaking bad. So as a Rochesterian, how do you actually survive this? Well, number one, you embrace it. You make sure you realize that it's gonna snow bad. You go skiing, you go sliding, you go kayaking. Wait, no you don't. You go outside and enjoy the fact, because albeit Rochester's winters are bad, they're also beautiful if you can utilize it correctly. Secondarily, get you a car that has an all-wheel drive. Please. I'm not kidding when I say it. We actually had someone call us from New Jersey, and she said, hey, what was the most important thing that I got to know for Rochester's winter? Either you get a Subaru or you get an all-wheel drive car. One or the other, you have to make sure you do. Preferably, you want to get a car that's a little bit heavier in weight so it actually has traction down there. But those two things are so freaking important when you're thinking about making Rochester home. You know, a lot of people hear about Kodak every other day, and it's this one company that's foregone change. Unfortunately, Kodak and Bausch, those days are over. And the people that are thinking about making a move here, they realize this. You see, our economy and our growth in specific sectors has shifted a lot. And I want to make sure you realize this. Michael actually came here from San Francisco to be closer to his parents. And what he told me was, well, interesting. He said, listen, I'm seeing a lot of healthcare, education, specific jobs here. And I said, listen, I know. So if you are thinking about making a move from an economic standpoint, you got to realize one critical thing. Education is a massive facilitator here. Healthcare is just as big, and logistics, well, we've got that taken care of. Now, companies like the University of Rochester, RIT, L3 Harris, Wegmans are our big facilitators, but just realize that we're not in the past anymore. This is the 21st century. You want to make sure you understand where the opportunities exist and you can capitalize on just that. But there is the catch-22. You see, Rochester, because our cost of living is less, the wages are going to be less with it. Now, obviously, a lot of our clients who are relocating here, they realize this, but for you, you want to make sure you understand the actual pertinence of this. A lot of people, whether they're moving here from Texas, from Florida, from Washington, wherever it may be, they realize that they're going to take a little pay cut. And I'm talking 30, 40, even $50,000 to $60,000. So when you are thinking about making that move here, understand that there's specific subsets of the market that have employment, but at the same time, how much you're going to get for that, well, it's not going to be as high as those other locations. Now, we have clients that reach out to us every single day asking about Rochester, and we absolutely love it. If you're thinking about making a move to Rochester, whether it be now, 9 days, or even 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text. We love the opportunity to help you on this journey. And even if you're just curious, give us a call. The person that answers those phone is me, better or for worse. Now imagine this cup is the real estate market and the coffee is the homes inside the real estate market. Here's what's happening in Rochester. I was gonna make it empty, but it's way too hot and there's zero shot in hell I'm gonna do that. But imagine that cup is empty. That's the houses, that's the market. Our real estate market is going through some of the most turmoil and most angst it's ever gone through. And it sucks for buyers. You see, we've had maybe 7 or 8 buyers that have been actively looking at homes just been outbid. And what does this mean? They get annoyed, their lease is about to come up, it's expiring, they get stressed out, their family gets stressed out, where their kids gonna go to school, are they gonna be homeless for 3 to 6 months? They renew their lease. The American dream dies. Our first-time home buyer market doesn't really exist anymore. And for my clients that are making 70, 80 to 100,000 and above, you have houses, but if you're making 60 to 55, you don't. And that's the conundrum. That's the issue. Our real estate prices have skyrocketed, but no one's willing to acknowledge it. No one is willing to actively put the homes on the market at the reasonable price point, not a single agent. Why? Well, it looks good on paper when you can get $100,000 above asking price, but the $100,000 above asking price is the realistic price, huh? It's good on paper when you can say you've had 200 showings because you listed $100,000 below asking. It looks good on paper when you list the property that should be selling for $350 at $240. Looks good on paper, but it hurts people. And if you're thinking about making a move to Rochester, you need to understand this. You're gonna go through some pain. You're gonna go through some pain. You are going to bleed a lot. But I am the greatest surgeon here. So let's work on this together. With that being said, I want you to understand one critical thing. Our median price point has risen at least to about $250. People just won't acknowledge this. There's homes in the city for $40,000 to $50,000, but here's the kicker. No one wants them. Why would you? You want to be in a suburban area where your family is safe, where the vibe and frequency is aligned with what you want. And if that's the case, most of our clients don't look in the city. Now, I'm not saying live here. I'm also not saying live there. But I'm saying I know what you're looking for. And you're looking for safety. You're looking for good schools. And you're looking for a place to call home. Let's make sure that happens. But it's going to be difficult. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it either, because there's a lot of realtors here that say, yeah, we'll get you a house in 30 days. You won't. Impossible. Unless you're willing to bid $200,000 to $300,000 above asking price, you need to work on this a little bit. We're going to need to wait, and we're going to have to bleed. It's just how the market is going. And it's an unfortunate truth as well. Irondequoit, Webster, Henrietta, Pittsburgh, Brighton, every one of those locations has homes going out of the shelves. In fact, Monroe County alone only has around 360 to about 500 homes respectively on the market. It's tough. So we need to make sure we have a game plan of success that surrounds this. Listen, I showed a buyer of mine a home in Webster. This was 2 days ago. It was $300,000 and she was willing to go up to $375,000. My loan officer called me and he said, hey, Gagan, listen, I've got multiple people that are interested in this. My company has multiple people that are interested in this. And when I called the listing agent, I asked how many showings, how many things they had. They said, I don't even know how to count. But one of our team members took a listing, 77 showings in 2 days. How is that even possible? Overlapping showings. I'm telling you this not to scare you. I'm telling you this not to make you feel afraid. I'm telling you this because it's the truth. And if you don't like this and you want someone else that will just lie to you and tell you everything is okay, please don't work with me. Seriously. But if you want someone that's honest and you want someone that's actually going to work with you throughout the process to make sure this happens, that's us. A lot of our clients have been looking for 2 to 3 months and we will get them a house. I guarantee it. But it does take some bleeding. So with all that in consideration, what am I trying to say? Our market is hot. It's steaming hot. And for the people that are thinking about selling their property, now is the time. For the people that are thinking about buying a property, we're going to have to look at some options. And right now, instead of the 90-10-10 rule, we're gonna have to go with the 75-15 and 10. But realistically, it's gonna be a tougher market, and it's just kind of how it is, especially with the rates going down. Make sure you understand this. Make sure you have all the factual data to actually help you with this as well. But let's say you do find a house and you're like, hey, this is where I wanna go. Where's that for you? Because our nightlife sucks. It's terrible. In fact, I haven't been able to get a date in like 6 years. I'm just kidding. Our nightlife is not the best, and that's something that you have to realize as well. You see, we had an older couple that came here and they said, listen, all I want is a suburban area where it's tranquil and quiet. They were retiring. It was super cute. Awesome. We found them a place in Henrietta. It was cute. I had another couple, Carlos, 27. I think it was 28. Pretty sure he's 28. I'm double check. They just got married. He got a job. And when he said, hey, Gagan, what's there to do? I said, what time? 9 p.m.? Because that's realistically when everything dies. And that's Rochester. You see, our nightlife really doesn't exist. Now, we've got some clubs, we've got some bars, we've got some places that do open up. But if you're comparing us to maybe a bigger metropolitan an hour away to the east or to the west, we really don't have that much going for us. And it's something that you got to realize. You see, Rochester is definitely a charming area. And there's some boutique things about it that do stay up the night, but not that much. There's this one club that I used to go to. They let 18-year-olds in every Thursday. I can't think of the name. If anyone knows, put it in the comment section below. But here's the thing. We've got a few options. Not really. If you want the best of both worlds, you know, suburban vibes and urban charm, Cornhill, that specific place in South Wedge, it's a really good option. You're close enough to both those things, you know, so you can get drunk and not die, but also you can get drunk. Combined. Pick those places, but at the same time, you're coming to Rochester because you want tranquil vibes and you want to be close to, well, maybe some of the lakes, maybe some of the beautiful mountains that we've got just 3 to 4 hours away. Maybe you got a job, right? Understand the fact that we really don't have much in terms of nightlife activities actually going for us. And if you're okay with that, Rochester's still a hit. Now, who is Rochester for and who isn't it for? I don't think there's an answer to that. I think it's for you if you want to come to Rochester, and if you don't, it's not for you. As simple as that. Every single person is unique and every single person is different. So for me to say that it's for everyone, or it isn't me to say that it's for everyone or for no one, doesn't make any sense. You see, you're not just a thing. You're not just someone that enjoys one activity. You have a multifaceted approach, right? It's like, I don't have any analogies for it, but nonetheless, what I am trying to say, my caffeine is definitely kicking in today. What I am trying to say is if you think that the Rochester is still a place for you, and after everything that I've told you, you still want to come to it, come, welcome. I'd love to have you here. The inventory sucks, so it's going to take us a minute, but we'll get you home. But if you think, hey, these aren't what's driving me, or I have other options, then go somewhere else. Go somewhere outside of the country. Go to Bali or Thailand or something. So there's a ton of options that do exist, but it's up to you to decide, hey, what am I willing to want? If you hate the winters, don't come here. If you love the winters, do come here. If you want a job in education, healthcare, logistics, come here. If you want something that's old school, don't come here. A lot of things definitely go into play. And if you want our professional guidance on what specifically you should be looking out for, give us a call or shoot us a text. We love making these videos and we're very goofy on camera. I like to think we're very personal on camera. But when it comes to our jobs, I promise you, we're very serious. We want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can with the resources that we have. Oh, by the way, I shared an entire video on the A to Z living guide in Rochester, New York. If you want that, I'm gonna put it right here. Watch it and I'll see you soon. Peace.